Welcome back to Galley of the Sun. It's been a while since I've done anything on camera with ice creams. Now, I do ice creams probably about every 2 weeks to a month, depending upon how we go through them. But I've got like 12, 14 containers. So we are using the original Ninja CREAMi with the original 16-ounce containers, okay? So I got a lot of these. I'm not upgrading to the other CREAMis that are out now that have the 24-ounce containers. So everything that I'm gonna give you as far as a recipe is the 16-ounce container, okay? But the recipe I'm gonna tell you, which is our absolute favorite, so it's become our base recipe for whatever we do. And that is our custard recipe. The recipe that I use this from actually makes 2 16-ounce containers, but I'm going to give it for a single 16-ounce container so you can adjust it to however size your CREAMi is. So a lot of people complain that when you use the heavy cream, you end up getting like butter or a really fatty taste or something like that. This recipe doesn't do that, and I use heavy cream. So it's 1 cup heavy cream, a 1/2 cup of whole milk, 1/3 cup of sugar, a pinch of salt, and you take that over to the stove and you just warm it up so that the sugar melts. You don't want it to scald, you don't want it to boil, you don't want it, you just warm it so the sugar melts. And then you take 3 egg yolks, no whites, just the yolks, save the whites for your angel food cake or something else. And mix those up, give them a good whisk so they're well blended. And once that is all melted through down here, you just put the egg yolks in and you cook it for maybe 1 to 3 minutes. It's gonna thicken up just slightly, and it's gonna change the color to this pretty kind of pale yellow, okay? And then you're gonna take that and you're gonna pour it through a strainer into another bowl because you don't want any of the maybe some leftover egg solids or something in there. And that is where your base is. If you wanna make chocolate, you add in about 2 tablespoons of Dutch processed, which is a dark chocolate, unsweetened, of the powder. And then you've got a chocolate base, okay? Now, to any of my bases, we add flavors. So if I want a vanilla base or a chocolate base, I add pure vanilla extract. I like the pure vanilla extract better than the artificial, but if that's what you're using, that's what you're using. I also add in my vanilla base, vanilla paste. The reason why I like this paste is because it lets the vanilla flakes kind of suspend in the base, okay? So that's my vanilla base. And I use my vanilla base for making lots of things. Today, I'm gonna be making a cookie dough and a Butterfinger. Cookie dough, I just buy the Nestle Toll House chocolate chip cookies that are the, just cut and bake. And I cut them up to about this size. Now, I don't use the mix-in function for this because I want them to stay this size. I don't want the mix-in function to pulverize them into something small. Okay, the other thing I'm gonna make today is Butterfinger. I used 3 of these fun-sized Butterfingers and just put them in a Ziploc, took a little mallet to them and mashed them up some so that they will mix in. Again, this I could run with the mix-in function, but I tend to just mix them in by hand, and I'll show you why. Okay, the other one that I'm making is a butter pecan toffee chip. So with the butter pecan, I really like the Wilton's butter flavor. I think it's got the best butter flavor. I use this for many, many things, especially in baking. And I use, where'd it go? Well, I did have a little bottle of Luann's oils and in pecan. So it's a pecan, and we get that from AJ's Fine Foods around here in Phoenix, so you can find it there. And I do probably about 6 to 8 tablespoons, or not tablespoons, teaspoons of the pecan flavor, and about 2/3 of that. So, 4 to 6 of the butter. So you get that nice buttery flavor and that nice pecan flavor. And then I toast up pecans. Now these, you're gonna wanna do ahead of time or put them in the fridge when you're done so that they have a chance to cool. Because you don't wanna put anything hot in your ice cream, right? It melts it. No, you don't want that. Except I'm gonna make not just butter pecan, but butter pecan toffee chip. So I'm going to add the English Heath bits, toffee bits, the toffee bits, and mini chocolate chips. You can use the bigger chocolate chips if you want, but I found that these actually work better, okay? And then finally, the last one that I'm doing 2 things of the mint chocolate chip. Again, that kind of basic vanilla base. Now, I have found that using the vanilla extract and using peppermint extract makes it taste almost like a York peppermint patty. So, I do these to taste. I use about maybe a tablespoon of the vanilla and start off with about a tablespoon of the peppermint. You may want less, you may want more. We like the peppermint flavor, so, and you can taste the base before you put it away. And just remember that when you do freeze it, it does it might mute the taste a little bit. So you might find that when you mix it, that you're gonna have to add a little more peppermint if that's what you like, okay? It's always better to err on the side of a little less than a little more when you're first doing it, because you can always add more. Okay, so I have made the bases. I need to go spin them. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spin it on ice cream. And I'm gonna show you how these turn out when you spin it just once on ice cream using this custard. Or a lot of people will say it's the French way of doing it. So if you hear French vanilla, that is your vanillas and your custard ice cream. Great base to start everything with. So you don't have to listen to how wonderfully loud the creaming can be. And I say wonderfully because the stuff that comes out of it is absolutely divine. I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and we're gonna get these mixed up, and then I'm gonna give you a little hint for what I use for cleaning the lid, because I've never had a problem with anything building up in my lid. So I will explain that to you as soon as we get them done spinning. I'll be right back. So I just wanted to show you, this is my first spin. And it's coming out kind of like a soft serve, which is fine, because when I put it back in the freezer, it'll become like a hard pack ice cream. And what we do to soften it up so we can just scoop it out with a scoop is we just pop it in the microwave for 15 to 30 seconds. And then you can just scoop it out like you would any commercial one that has all of the emulsifiers and all of the air whipped into it. Remember, these don't have all that air whipped into it, so you don't have that softness. Okay, I'm gonna go do everything else. We'll see you back in a minute. All right, so I've got my 2 vanilla bases done. Now, you can clean the lid at this point if you want. I usually don't, because the vanilla base goes basically for everything. So I'm gonna do my butter pecan next. And after my butter pecan, because there's flavors that are in here that I don't want in my mint chip, I will clean this. And I will tell you how I do that in a minute. But right now, let's go ahead and get my Butterfinger and my cookie dough done. So you can see that these are nice and easy to blend and mix in. So I go in and I pop in as much of the cookie dough as I want. And mind you, this has come from the freezer, and I just cut it up into the little pieces. And this is part of why I hand mix it, because I can get it in here without breaking up those big cookie dough pieces, so that when you go to eat it, once I refreeze it, it'll all work. Okay, So that's my cookie dough. That's ready to go in the freezer. We'll get that in the freezer in just a moment because we don't want to let it sit out. And then my Butterfinger. So I'm just popping the Butterfinger pieces on top and dripping around and making a mess. Thank you, Michael. It's the main chef here on Galley of the Sun, helping out his little dessert chef. Okay, made a little bit of a mess, so I'm going to pick up just a couple of those little chocolate pieces. So we have chocolate. Now, you can buy Butterfinger ice cream commercially. Is it going to be as good? Sure. Do I think this is better? Absolutely.
You're damned right.
So we just get it all mixed up in there. And you can see, but we don't really need to send it through the mix-in function because this is soft enough to hand mix right now. Okay, that's going back into the freezer to get hard again. And we will test these a little later today and film that testing. I'm just cleaning up a little bit of a mess. And you saw me come in here and clean this. I do try to clean this every time. I'm going to go through and mix up the butter pecan and the mint. And I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't measure the mix-ins. I go with the heart. You should go with the heart. Put in as much or as little as you want. This is going to go for 2 of these pints. The mint chip, since it already has the mint in it, is just going to get mini chocolate chips mixed in. And that's all we're going to do. Now, I did promise you that I would tell you how I do this. So when I clean this, I take out the, let me get a paper towel here. I take out the blade, and then you see this little lever here that holds the blade in. So I run this under super hot water, like we have lava hot water coming out of our tap, so I get it all the way to the hot. And I just do this with it, and then I put a little bit of Dawn, and I do this with it again, and get it really rinsed really, really good. And then I air dry it so it sits like this, and everything can run out. And that's how I clean it, and I don't have any buildup underneath in here at all. Nothing. I don't have any buildup in the little plastic things here. I'll take off the seal and clean it. And that's how I clean the lid. And I've never had a problem in all of the years we've had the CREAMi. I think it's been 4 years. Yeah, 4 years we've had the CREAMi. Never had a problem. Okay, I will be back. Actually, I think I might be done until we go and sample all of these later after we get a little bit of a refreeze on them. Okay, we'll see you in a little while. Okay, so everything's frozen back up, and I just want to show you real quick how just smooth this stuff is. It's not a real hard pack like some people get. That is why we use this custard base, okay? Now, we have our wonderful chef here who is just, I have talked into coming in and trying all of the ice cream. So we're gonna start off with what I consider the most mild, which is the cookie dough. Then we're gonna go to the Butterfinger, the butter toffee, or the butter pecan toffee chip, and then mint chip. So start down here.
It's a tough job, but somebody has to do it.
Okay, did you get any of the cookie doughs in it? Because I tried to get a bunch of them in there.
I did.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite flavors. All right, Butterfinger. Very good, and the right amount of Butterfinger in there. Plus, those first 2 bites, I don't have any of that wax stuff on the top of my mouth either, so
And
made
that's what
perfect.
this custard recipe does.
Okay. Butter toffee pecan.
Yeah, so it's butter pecan with Heath toffee chips and chocolate chips.
Oh, wow. That's decadent.
And then our old favorite, mint chip, which is a vanilla base custard with the peppermint extract and mini chocolate chips.
Very good. Very good. All of them absolutely fantastic.
Okay, so pretty much the takeaway here is pick a base that you like, that gives you what you're looking for, both in mouthfeel and in taste, and just start mixing things the way you want to do it. You can use jams, you can use jellies, you can use candy bars. Whatever you decide you want to do, you go do you. So thanks for joining us here today. Fair winds and following suits.